Hi, Tracy Tressida here, and welcome to Health and Lifespan Development for 2018. This video is just going to be very short. I'm going to do a quick run through the course outline and just show you, you can probably see on the screen already the slide. The slide deck will be available, and I've actually left the notes with the slide deck so that you can have a read. I'm not going to talk my way through it because I know that it becomes too boring for you to listen to, so I will let you read that. We're using a textbook called Lifespan Development, and it basically looks like this, and it's by Hoffnung and Hoffnung. We will be referring to the textbook quite a bit, so you will need it for the quizzes and also for the final exam. You can get an online version, which is reasonably cheap. I think it's about $65, or if you want to buy the hard copy, you can. That's a little bit more expensive, but we'll put a link for that in the course outline. So let me just go quickly to the course outline, which you can see here on the screen. The best way to contact me is you can send me an email through my UTS email, and if I don't respond to you within 24 hours, then send me a text message, because I don't check this UTS one all the time. I work in a whole heap of different other areas, and it's not my main email. So if you don't hear back from me, just send me a text message. So we're looking at this particular course of health and lifespan development, looking really at cognitive, psychosocial and physical development from conception to death. It's quite a big subject, and there's a lot of content, and I try to take out as much of the important content that becomes relevant to you in the whatever particular area it is that you want to work in, whether it be physiotherapy, strength and conditioning, as a PE teacher, as a physical trainer, whatever area that you're hoping to go into. I'm hoping that I can pull out the main content that becomes relevant for you, so that you're able to have what I call practical application of the theory. No point learning the theory and not applying it. So I often ask that question, so what, who cares? And it's really important from my perspective for you to be able to understand the relevance of why you're learning what you're learning. So the course outline, pretty standard: learning objectives, learning outcomes, and then a week by week. Now, what's really important here is that each week, because we're using what's called a flipped learning environment, which takes the responsibility or gives the responsibility back to you as the learner. We're wanting you to be able to prepare so that you're actually learning stuff on your own before you come into the lectures and the tutorials, and that becomes more of a consolidation of the learning. So each week you'll have some things to read, and some questions to think about. You don't have to answer the questions, that you don't have to write them. I'd like you to think about them, because we'll probably discuss them in class. So each week you'll need to check the course outline for the things that you need to prepare for, and in some instances there are some assessments that I like you to take. And so, for example, a strengths assessment, a values assessment, and I want you to bring the results of those assessments to class. If you turn up and you haven't done them, then you may not get marked present, because the information that comes from that assessment we will be using in the tutorial. So it's important that you bring it, and it's very useful for you. A lot of the information that we do, or the work that you do in the tutorials, becomes very relevant to your life as a whole. So make sure you read the course outline clearly to see the things you've got to watch or read or think about. I also give you an outline of the chapters that and the areas that you need to read. Now, because the book is dense and there's a lot to get through, I actually give you in Blackboard, I will give you the exact pages to read. and they will be following basically these subject headlines here, the topic headlines. So make sure that you go into Blackboard and see what you need to read, because I don't want you to read the whole chapter, because not everything is relevant to what we're working on. And then the final piece really, which is what everybody likes to know, are the assessments. And you'll have, there are 3 different types of assessments, where here they are. So the first one is some class quizzes. There are 3 class quizzes. Each one is worth 10%, and it's an open book exam. It's an online quiz that you take in the privacy of your own home or in the library or wherever, and they will be in weeks 3, 5 and 7, and they'll be based on stuff from the lectures, the tutorials, and from the readings. It's if you read up, it's an easy way to get 30% if you can make sure you're on top of all the work. So there'll be 3 quizzes, and then there's a reflective journal or essay that comes in towards the very end, not due till October, and it's based on information from the late adulthood phase of life. So I'll give you a lot more information about that. And that's an 800-word essay. And then there's a final exam based around the information from the second half of the semester, not the first half. And it's a multiple choice exam in exam week, and it's worth 40%. Okay, so that's the course outline. And then over to the slides. I will put the slides up into Blackboard, and you'll be able to just work through those yourself, and it really just explains what is lifespan development, and why basically should we be studying development. So I'll leave you to look through that. That's about it. I'll leave it there, and I look forward to meeting you all. Now, the very first week of semester, Paul Ryan, who is a PhD student from University of British Columbia, will be taking the lecture and the tutorials in the first week. So we welcome Paul, and I will meet you in person in the second week of lectures. Okay, take care, and I will see you soon.